Okay, this is for Algebra 2, and this is day 1 of solving rational expressions or equations. Remember that it is a rational equation if there is an x in the bottom of the fraction anywhere. It's very similar at the beginning to when we were adding and subtracting. You got to simplify anything that you can, and then you want to find your common denominator, compare, see what's missing, multiply. It's just that when you start writing after you multiply, it's not going to be a fraction. You're going to turn it into an equation to solve. So these are your basic steps. You need to remember that the only difference in solving an equation and solving an inequality is that with an inequality, if you multiply or divide by a negative number, you have to flip the way the inequality symbol changes or faces. Another thing you have to keep in mind is that when you get it down to just the equation and you're going to solve, if it's all just x's, it's going to be linear and there's one solution. But if when you distributed you would end up with an x squared, it becomes quadratic and you should have two solutions. So let's look at number 1. The first thing you want to do is look at the bottom of each fraction and see if you can break it down, simplify it, pull anything out. And they're all okay. So we're ready to come over to the side and figure out what is my common denominator. Well, take numbers that are outside. So like look at your 3 and your 6. The common denominator for 3 and 6 is 6. Then you add to it any sets of parentheses that you ever run across. So x minus 2 has to be a part of it. And then we've already dealt with the 6. And then for the x minus 2 and the last one, we've already written it down. So 6 and x minus 2 is going to be your common denominator. So as you look at that, you're going to compare this denominator with your common denominator. 6 divided by 3 is 2. X minus 2 is in both, so it's good. Then you're going to compare this denominator with the common one. The 6 is good, but it needs an x minus 2. Then you're going to compare the last denominator with the common denominator, and it's just missing a 6. So you're going to take what you've written, you're going to multiply it by what's already at the top, and you're going to create an equation. So 2 times x plus 1 means 2 times x plus 1. Then they have an equal, so you're going to put your equal. Then you're going to have x minus 2 times 5x, using parentheses to show this. They have a plus, and then you're going to have 6 times 1, which is 6. Now notice that I didn't actually distribute. I didn't actually multiply. It's okay because we're going to let the calculator do the hard work for us. When you have an equation, if you will put the left side into y1 and the right side into y2, your answer is going to be where they cross each other. So you would do second calc number 5 for intersect. Now you could also look at your table and see where y1 and y2 are the same. You could, you need to be aware that if you're doing second calc 5 for where they cross, you'll have to do it twice if it's a quadratic and find both places that they cross. So looking at my calculator, I'm going to go to y1, clear it out, and at y1 I'm going to do 2 open, x plus 1 close. At y2 I'm going to do open, x minus 2 close, open, 5x, close, plus 6. I'm going to glance at my graph, and I notice that I have a straight line, linear, and a parabola, quadratic. I've got to find both places where they cross. So second calc number 5, and just immediately go enter, enter, enter. And you notice that your cursor is at the left place where they cross. The x value is 0.4, so x equal 0.4 is one of my answers. Now I've got to do the whole process again to find where they cross on the right side and get the other answer. So second calc number 5, use your right arrow and get the cursor over kind of by the other intersection. Enter, 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 and x equal 2 is the other solution. Okay, looking at number 2, you want to see if you can do anything to break down any of your fractions. And you have a 2x plus 1, which is all good. You have a 3, which you can't do anything to. And you have a 4x plus 2. Well, you can pull a 2 out of that, and it leaves you 2x plus 1. So now you're going to find your common denominator. I'm going to clear my screen right quick so that I can move this down and have room to write above it. Okay, so we pulled a 2 and it left me 2x plus 1. So my common denominator, I take the 2x plus 1 because that was in the first fraction. I take the 3. Oh, look, I have a 3 and I also have a 2 on the outside. Common denominator for 3 and 2 is 6. And then the 2x plus 1 I've already got. So I'm ready to compare. So the first one is missing a 6. The second one, I'm going to say 6 divided by 3 is 2. And it's also missing a 2x plus 1. And the last one, I'm going to say 6 divided by 2 is 3. And that's all it's missing. So for my equation, it's going to be 6 times x plus 2 equals 2 times 2x plus 1 times x plus 3 times 3. So I'll take the left and put it at y1 and the right and put it at y2. So go to y equal, clear everything out. At y1, 6 open, x plus 2 close. At y2, 2 open, 2x plus 1 close, open x close, plus 3 open, 3 close. Glancing at my graph, I have a linear line and I have a quadratic parabola that's at the very, very top and I can barely see it. You could change your window. You could just work with it and see what happens. I think I'm going to try to just work with it. I know I can get one of my answers. Second, Calc 5, enter, 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 and I get x is equal to negative 0.5. Looking at the graph, I'm thinking that's probably the solution on the left, so I'm going to have to look for one that's further to the right. So I'm going to go to second Calc 5. I'm going to hit my right arrow, and I'm going to go a long ways. I mean, I'm just holding my arrow down while I talk to you, and I've gone a long, long ways. Okay? Now I'm going to go enter, 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 and I discover my other answer is x equal 1.5. If I had gotten x equal negative 0.5 again, I would know that I just didn't hold that arrow down long enough. I would go through all the steps again and move to the right more. Okay, the difference in number 3 is that we now have an inequality, but the first part of your problem, it works the same. Look at the bottom. Can you pull anything out? No, you can't. So let's find our common denominator, and it's going to be x and x minus 6. You got to think of that x minus 6 as a unit, and it can't work with the x from the other one. So I'm ready to compare, and the first one is missing x minus 6, and the other one is missing x. So my equation is open x minus 6 close times x minus 2. Less than, because that's the symbol they had, x times x minus 4. Still going to put it into y1 and y2. So go to y equal, clear everything out, and you're going to do open x minus 6 close, open x minus 2 close. At y2, you're going to do x open x minus 4. On this one, let's look at the table, okay? So you're going to do second graph, and you're going to look at your table. And you're going to have an x and a y1 and a y2. And you notice that we were looking for where y1 and y2 are the same. And we notice that this happens when x is 3. They are both negative 3. So I know that 3, because that was the x value, is part of my solution. But I just don't know if x has to be less than 3 or greater than 3. Remember that the value for y1 has to be less than the value for y2. So let's go up to a smaller number for x. So if x is 2, y1 is 0, and y2 is negative 4. 0 is not smaller than negative 4, so that doesn't work. If you go down to like where x is 5, y1 is negative 3, and y2 is 5. So that works. So that meant our x value actually had to get bigger. So x is greater than 3. Okay, looking at number 4, start by seeing if you can break anything down, and you can pull a 3 out, and it leaves you y plus 2. So your common denominator is, you have a 15 and a 3, so 15 and a y plus 2. So compare. We're missing a 15, we're missing a y plus 2, and we're missing a 5 because 15 divided by 3 is 5. So multiply to create your inequality. So you have 15 times 3 plus 7 times y plus 2 is greater than or equal to 23 times 5. Everything on the left goes to y1, everything on the right goes to y2. So go to y equal, clear everything out. 15 times 3 plus 7, open, x plus 2, close. Go to y2, 23 times 5. Look at your graph. Can't really see a lot of what's happening, so I'm going to zoom 3 for out and press enter. Still not seeing a lot, so I'm going to try my table and see if that'll work any at all. Got to get where y1 and y2 are both 115. Having to kind of just do a little searching on this still. It looks like when x is 8, they're both 115. So 8's going to be part of my answer. Well, y1 has to be bigger. So if I go to where x is 5, 94 is not bigger. So that's not going to work. But if I go down to where x is 9, 122 is. So x is going to have to be greater than 8. Okay? Still wondering if I should work with my zoom a little bit to where I can see everything. I guess you could do zoom fit. That might be a good thing to go to. And so zoom fit is zoom 0. And that will draw it so that you can see both of your lines. Both of my lines are linear, so there ought to only be one answer, so I'm good at x is greater than 8. Okay, if you have this one, you can actually just cross multiply. So 7 times x minus 5 has to equal 6 times x plus 2. This only works if there's only one fraction on the left and one fraction on the right. Go to y equal, clear everything out. 7, open, x minus 5, close. And at y2, you're going to say 6, open, x plus 2, close. Second, calc, number 5 for intersect. Let it draw the lines, enter, enter, enter. And my zoom was messed up, so I'm going to go to zoom 0 so it'll show both of them. I'm going to go again, second calc, number 5, enter, enter, enter. Still having problems, so I'm going to go to zoom 3, enter, and it will zoom it out. Now I can actually see where they cross, second calc 5, enter, enter, enter. You're usually going to get an error if the calculator is not seeing where it crosses. X equals 47. It's equal because it was an equation this time, and there's only one answer because it was linear. Okay, number 6. Common denominator is x plus 2 and x minus 2. So when you compare, the first one is missing x minus 2, the next one is missing x plus 2, and the last one is missing x plus 2. So your equation is x minus 2 times x minus, open, x plus 2 times x plus 2 equals x plus 2 times x plus 3. Very important that you use parentheses around everything. The left goes to y1, the right goes to y2. So go to y equal, clear everything out. Open, x minus 2, close, open, x, close. Minus, open, x plus 2, close, open, x plus 2, close. Enter to take you down to y2, open, x plus 2, close, open, x plus 3, close. I'm going to start at zoom 6, just kind of see what's happening on the graph. Got a quadratic and a linear, that means I'm going to have two answers. Second calc 5, enter, enter, enter. I can't see my cursor, so that tells me it's doing the one. Yes, I can see it's doing the one on the right. So x is equal to -1 is one of my solutions. Going to do it again, second calc 5, and I'm going to go to the left a long ways to try to get to that other place where they cross. Enter, enter, enter. I still got x equal -1, so I didn't go far enough to the left. So second calc 5, go to the left a long ways. Enter, enter, enter. Still getting it. I'm going to try my table. Actually, what I probably ought to do is go to zoom 0 for fit and see if it would show. Now I can see both crosses. So that's what you need to do is zoom 0 for fit. Second calc 5, go to the left until I'm close to the left intersection. Alright, I'm pretty close to it, so enter, enter, enter. And this time I figure out that x is equal to, and it's still going to -1. Second calc 5, I'm going to try this one more time. Enter, enter, enter. And finally I figure out that it's at -10. And you might could have done it faster using the table, and that's okay. Okay, this is what it's actually going to look like on your assignment page, okay? And the restrictions, it's very important that you understand how to get that. That's just saying, what can x not be? Well, we know that you can't have a 0 in the denominator. So if I look at the first fraction, think of it as x plus 3 is equal to 0, because that can't be 0. If I move this 3, x equals -3, so it cannot be -3. Basically, as long as there's not a number with the x, it's just the opposite sign. X can't be -3, x can't be a +4. Then you write your least common denominator. That's what we've been doing. We find our common denominator. Then it works the same after that. On this one, your restriction is just x cannot be 0. This 3 doesn't affect your restriction at all. You use the 3 and the x for your common denominator. On this one, for x minus 3 cannot be equal to 0. Whoops. And so when you move your 3, x is not equal to 3. X cannot be equal to -2 using the opposite sign. When you have one like this, you're going to factor the numbers at the end, 1 and 6, 2 and 3. Signs are the same, they're all positive, it has to equal 5. Lo and behold, it breaks down to x plus 2 and x plus 3. It's usually going to do that. At least one of the other denominators will be part of it. All you got to do is use these two right here to find your restrictions are -2 and -3. That was Solving Rationals Day 1. If you have questions, come see me during speed.